Hello, I'm Leona Dooley, and this is Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. And today in the kitchen, we're just kind of all over the place because I did a little grocery shopping. We still have a little bit of prep to do as far as preparing for Thanksgiving. I had been looking for greens everywhere. Well, today I went into my Food Lion and guess what I found? Found some greens. So we're going to take care of those, get them ready, and actually I'm going to get them cleaned and we're going to get them started on the stove. And you know, we're going to talk a little bit because we've had some changes. We thought we were going to be here most of Thanksgiving, but guess what? We're going to be doing quite a bit of travel. And in fact, we're going to be gone the entire Thanksgiving week. So because of that, I'm going to have to opt out for one day, for Wednesday. I'm not sure if I'll have a video up on that Wednesday, but definitely that following Saturday is our holiday winter kitchen vignette. And I'm hoping that you're going to participate. And so all that information you'll find in my community page, and there's lots of reminders there. I'll remind you on Facebook, I'm going to remind you on Instagram so that you won't forget to upload. Also, don't forget that if you did not have a chance to watch the One Pot Holiday Meal Collab, then you're definitely going to want to go back and check out that playlist, and I'll have that listed in the description box as well. Now, you know, also I had a great time doing some Thanksgiving planning, well really not just Thanksgiving but holiday planning with Denise. We were on Homemaking with Purpose, and I had a chance to go on with her, and we had a wonderful time. Denise and I talk a lot. And we get on the phone, and before you know it, an hour has gone by. And you know what? The same thing happened on the show. We got to talking about our plans and what we were doing. She's dealing with the house. I'm dealing with the food. And we had lots and lots of questions and suggestions and all kinds of things that were going on. It was a dynamite show. So if you haven't checked that out, I'll have that down in the description box as well, because you're not going to want to miss that, because we gave you tips that you can use for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for New Year's, for a Sunday or a Saturday. So you're going to want to check that out. So I can't talk anymore. I'm going to get a little something to drink because I'm a little thirsty from being out and about at the grocery, and I'm going to talk about what I found. Now, this was one of those short, sweet, in and out grocery visits. And you know, I don't do that very often. So I'm going to show you the little quick things that I found. I had a flyer from our neighborhood store, which is Food Lion. And Food Lion had quite a few things on sale that I thought, well, I'll go over there. Since I was looking for the greens, I thought I would go over there and just pick up greens. And because they had a turkey on sale for 33 cents, I thought I'd pick that up too. But, you know, once you start walking around a grocery store, you're done. They're going to get you. So the first thing I found was a small package of russet potatoes. This is just enough for the big guy and I, because we just don't eat potatoes as quickly as we used to. I also picked up some probiotic organic whole milk yogurt, which I love to eat, but I'm going to make some homemade sour cream, so I needed my probiotics. I also wanted some salad. You know, we have salad a lot, so lettuce in my house goes pretty quickly, so I needed to pick up another head of lettuce. Now, what goes along with that probiotic is some heavy whipping cream. So I've got the heavy whipping cream and the probiotic yogurt, so we can put together our sour cream. We'll get that started today. so that hopefully within 24 hours, our sour cream will be ready. They also had pounds of butter, 2 for $5. And to be honest with you, that's a little bit higher than what it normally would be. But I picked up the store brand and I got 2 pounds. I also love White Lily's buttermilk white cornbread mix. And you know, I can mix my own. But when I just want a quick batch of cornbread, it's delicious. Also, I needed some bread flour. I promised a few viewers that I would do my Parker House rolls again. And so I'm going to be doing that. So I needed just a little bit of bread flour to go along with that. Now I want you to look next to the bread flour. I didn't know that Libby's carries a country sausage gravy. I love biscuits and sausage gravy. And what I'm thinking I'll do is that I'm going to take this, mix it with some sausage that I have already cooked. You can use Italian or you can use breakfast sausage, and we're going to put together a really good sausage gravy over some biscuits. I also picked up some Vegenaise, which I'm trying to switch over from mayonnaise to Vegenaise when I make my sandwiches. So I'm doing that. In addition to that, I found a smaller package of Swerve. You know, sometimes Swerve comes and it's a pretty big package. But I'm going to try this. I haven't used it yet, so this is new. That's new for me. So we're going to try that out and see how it works. I love Little Debbie's little Christmas gingerbread soft cookies. And they had those on sale as well. And there weren't a lot of them. That's either because people had already been there or they just didn't get very many. So I picked up 2 because that'll be enough to get us through the holiday. It's not like we're going to eat them every day. And it's not like that's going to be the only thing we have. So I've got those Little Debbie gingerbread cookies. I also picked up my smoked turkey that I'm going to be using in the greens. I'll use some of them in the greens, and some of them I'm going to use for green beans as well. I picked up some more mushrooms, and you know I freeze my mushrooms so that they'll last, as well as I picked up a few tomatoes, and I picked up the big guy a new mix, and it's by Frank's. He likes Bloody Mary mix. It's not about any alcohol, it's just he likes the spiciness. And what he does is that he mixes his V8 juice and his Bloody Mary mix. And so he has basically a Bloody Mary, I guess you call it a non-alcohol mix in the evening. Now, tomatoes, little cherry tomatoes. I picked up some cucumbers, just a couple, enough to get us through this week. Now let's go over here to the butterball turkey. Now this butterball turkey is not going to go in the freezer as the other one did. This one was, let's see, I think for, see how many pounds, it was $12.71. And we had, trying to get the poundage, net weight, under normal circumstances, it would have been $25.55. But because of the size of this one, I got this for 33 cents with my card. And so we've got about a 13-pound butterball turkey. So this rascal is going to get in a container, and he's going to go in the refrigerator so he can thaw. Now I'm going to turn you around over here to the greens because I got 3 large batches of greens that we're going to get clean today. So we're going to get the sour cream started. We're going to get our greens cleaned up. I've got some soup going over on the stove. Not really something that's that special, but that's what we're going to have for dinner tonight. I've got the turkey that I'm going to get cleaned up and get it into the refrigerator so it can thaw, because I'm going to have my turkey at home Sunday for our Sunday dinner. And so I'll have that taken care of. So I'm good with that. So we're going to talk about a little bit about Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is really very special to me. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is to fill this sink up with water. And I'm going to put in 1, and I'm doing it by drops, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drops of non-dishwashing liquid. Just enough so that I know my greens are clean. So, and my water is not hot, it's warm. So I'm going to take the greens out and get them out of their bags. And there's always a little rubber band that's around them usually. I'm going to take that off as well. And we're ready to work. So there's our band for the first batch. Batch 1. I'm going to go ahead and put in batch 2. And I may certainly have to add more water, but we'll figure that out once we get all 3 out of the bag. Now, if I were, I talked about the fact that very often I'll have enough greens to be able to do them for both Thanksgiving and Christmas. That was not the case today. They didn't have enough greens for me to be able to buy that many bags or that many bunches of greens. Now, I like to save these little rubber bands because they come in handy when I'm decorating. And so I'll put them off to the side so they can be washed, and I can put those away. Now, here's batch number 3. Now, I can already see that I'm going to need a little more water. So I'm going to go ahead and put some more water in. And I'm going to let these soak for a little while we're working on our sour cream. In fact, I think I'm going to put just a tiny bit more. Just a tiny bit more. It's going to go in. I'm going to clean all of that up. And let's do that. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is to turn the light on in my lower oven. And the reason for doing that is because we need to kind of warm up the oven just a little bit, because we're going to put this jar into the oven wrapped up in a towel, and it's going to stay there until this time tomorrow. And then we'll take it out. So I've got jar, lids, and we're ready to go. All right, got water for the greens, so let's move on to the homemade sour cream. Now I'm starting with a pint. I had a pint already of heavy whipping cream in the refrigerator, and I'm going to be using cream quite a bit. So let me get rid of I'm going to pour that pint into our quart jar. There we go. That takes care of that pint. And then I'm going to continue with the one that I've purchased today. Now, just in case you don't know, all yogurt, even though it may be whole milk, is not necessarily a probiotic. You need to make sure that you look on the container and it will tell you if it has an active, if its probiotics are active, live active culture. That's what you're looking for, live active culture. It needs to say that. So here's our other heavy whipping cream. I have that ready. So I'm going to fill it up, but I'm not going to fill it all the way just yet. I'm going to fill it up to right there because I'm going to add in about a third cup. Actually, I can add a little more, and I may certainly do that. But we're going to add in about a third cup of our yogurt. So I've got my third cup measure, and you'll notice I'm not really trying to be exact. We just need to know it's about a third cup. And I'm going to carefully place that in, and that should be more than enough, that one scoop. Then let me get a teaspoon, and I want a wooden spoon for this. And I'm going to take my spoon, and I'm going to give it a really good stir. Really good stir. Then I'm going to put it in a warm spot, which in this case is going to be my oven. Now, I'm not going to turn the oven on. I'm just going to turn the light on and let the oven be warm. Okay. Now I've got a little more space, and I think I'm going to go ahead and add just a touch more of heavy cream. That'll be fine. Then I'm going to put my lid on. Let me wipe this off and make sure it's nice and clean. Wipe all that off. Get it good. And I spilled a little bit of cream on my top. Okay. And then we're going to turn it. And you're just turn it with your hand. You're not trying to twist it too hard. It's not like you're looking for it to, we're not going to water bath it or do anything like that. We just want a good seal so nothing spills from there. So then I'm going to pick it up and give it a good shake again. All right, this baby's good to go. I'm going to put the top on this, get it into the refrigerator, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do to get it ready for the oven. Okay, I've got 2 kitchen towels that I have right here, and I'm going to wrap this baby like, I'm going to wrap it like a baby. We're going to swaddle it, so we say, in the world of motherhood. Get it nice and tucked in. Continue to wrap it up. All right, now this is ready. We're going to take this little swaddled baby and we're just going to sit it in our oven. Now, I don't know if you can see, but my lower oven is open, and I'm just going to take this and I'm going to put it on that shelf and close it up. The light is on, and we'll close it up, and it's going to stay in there for 24 hours. So there it is, ready to go. Let's start working on the greens. Now, these greens obviously are going to need several rinses, but in the meantime, I want to show you my technique. That I take them off the stem like that. There's the stem part. I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that over there. when that happens, it separates the leaves. So I'm going to put those over in the other sink. So I'm going to take it off the stem, have it here, and I'm going to do that for each of these leaves. So sometimes they're a little stiffer. You know, we've had a frost, and you know, the good thing is I think collard greens in particular are better when they've had a chance to be caught in a frost. And it just tenderizes them. It makes them a lot easier to handle. So we're cleaning. We're going to go down, take it off the stem, pull that stem out and put them there. And that just gives us a nice quick way. If you have a bad spot, take those off. Bend your leaves down, and they're ready to go. So I'm rinsing as I go, again, into the water, making sure everybody's got nice and washed the first time. I check those leaves over, make sure we don't have any guests. You know, sometimes, depending upon the time of the year, you may even have little worms that sometimes are in your greens. And if that's the case, then of course they need to be cleaned up because they're not the protein we want in our greens. So I'm just going to continue to clean greens and get all of these cleaned. And when I'm ready for that next rinse, I'll bring you right back. Now I am in the process of taking out the dirty water. And this is the first rinse. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take a handful, put them together, kind of roll them up just a little bit, and give about 1, 2, 3 cuts. So that's going to give me a piece that's probably about this big. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start to add water back in. I wanted to show you that before I got into this, because the water is going to be going. Just got to fold them up. They don't have to be special, but they're about 1.5 inches to 1 inch. And if they're off just a little bit, it's not going to hurt them. And as you're going through them, if you find a little end that needs to be thrown away, you can do that. That's what we're doing at this point, going through them a second time. Fine dishwashing liquid in this batch of water. But I can see that I still have a few bubbles. So because of that, I'm going to take all of this out, put it in some fresh water, and I'm going to do it again. And you can, I don't know if you can tell, but the water is green. So that tells you that it's pulled a bit of the chlorophyll out, but that's okay, it's still got plenty. And they are well washed. I'm just making sure I have most of my little leaves out. And then I'm going to empty this sink. And we're going to rinse this sink out again well. And once we've done that, we're going to make another sink of clear water and rinse them one more time. And if that one comes out nice and clean, you know you're done. And then we'll be ready to put them in the pot. All right, here's my pot. And as you can see, this pot is not going to hold all these greens. So some of these greens are going to go into the freezer. So I'm just putting in some cold water. Probably about 3/4 of the way. High enough to cover up everything. I have in some smoked turkey. I'm not going to add any salt at this point because I don't know how salty the turkey is. So I've got to wait until this has a chance to cook down a bit. But once this comes to a boil, then we're going to start to add in the greens. Now before we start those greens, we're going to add just a little bit of seasoning. So I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to add in a pinch of red pepper flakes to give it a little background flavor, but not really hot. You know, it's not really that hot. Then I'm going to add in a little bit of garlic powder and probably about a teaspoon or so. Now at this point I'm really keeping it just a little bit light because I don't want to over season. And I'm not sure at this point just how many greens are going to go in here. So that's why I'm going to be very careful. And of course this turkey needs to cook down, so we're going to take care of that as well. Drop the greens. Now one thing to keep in mind is that everything in this pot needs to cook, and it's going to need to really bubble. So the heat is going to be on probably more of a medium, almost a medium high, because I want a constant bubble in this pot. Number one, we need to cook the turkey, and we want that turkey to just fall off the bone. And then we also want those collards very tender. Now some people like to add vinegar into the water because it helps to break down the greens a little faster, but I'm going to let these go, so I'm not going to put any vinegar in yet. Also, very often I will add just a pinch of sugar, especially if I find that the greens are a little bit bitter. And so keep that in mind, that you may want to just pinch, you know, like a half a teaspoon of sugar into your water, just to help to remove that bitterness. Or you can even add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and that will also help with that. I'm placing the rest of the greens into Ziploc bags, and I have enough greens for 3 Ziploc bags. And what I typically do is to fill the bag and zip it up, leave about an inch of open space in that zip so that I can press on it and roll it up and get almost all of the air out of the bag. And once I've done that, then they're going to look like the space bags by the time it's finished. But you know what? When I put it into the freezer, I can lay them down, put them into the freezer standing up. They won't take a lot of space, and those greens will still be fresh when we're ready to cook them. Well, our sour cream is out of the oven and has been in the refrigerator for quite a while. So I'm going to take my spoon. It's a clean spoon, and you're going to be able to see our sour cream. And it still has a little while. It needs to set up just a bit, but I'm going to give it time to do that, but it's in the process of thickening up. So we've got our mixture that came out of the oven. It tastes good. Tastes like sour cream, and it's going to be just perfect. So this is a pure probiotic sour cream, so I'm going to give it a good stir so that when it's in the refrigerator and setting up, we're going to be able to use this in our recipes. So sour cream's ready. I'm going to wipe it off, put the top on it, and we're ready to refrigerate. Homemade sour cream. So there she is. Before we get into the hustle and bustle of the Christmas season, let's stop and take a moment. We want to end today's video with being very sincere. I certainly pray that each of you have a safe and blessed Thanksgiving. And I want you to know how special you are to the family. I wish each of you could be right here around the table with me, because you know at Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme that it's all about building strong families. And so, as you sit down with your family this week, and I'm hoping that you have family coming so that you can spend those memorable moments together. And should you be a family that has lost someone, then I hope you will take the time to remember and to think of something that was fun and that would make you smile about that person, and just give thanks for the fact that that person was in your life. Now, you know, there was a sign that I passed the other day, and it said that Thanksgiving is not just a holiday. Thanksgiving is a way of life. Is that not true? So take a moment, close your eyes, count your many blessings that have brought you to this moment in time. God bless you, and I'll see you after Thanksgiving.